We started during COVID when we were flooded with lots of executive directors calling in, facing situations that they hadn't even dreamed of. And so it was decided to create a group of experienced, seasoned consultants to match one-on-one with these executive directors. So they had somewhere to turn to, someone to get some feedback from, or advice, or a listening ear, a sounding board. I want to introduce Ivy. Ivy, if you would share just a little bit about your background and why Exec to Exec spoke to you.
So initially in the 70s, I co-founded a computer company, which I sold in the 90s. And I went back to school and got my master's in organizational development and became a consultant. And from there, I started a Vistage group. So for 15 years, I coached CEOs and executive directors, as well as leading a peer advisory group. And I ended that in 2019. When the pandemic hit, I was really looking for something that I could do from home. And a friend of mine who works for the Gates Institution, Gates Foundation, referred 501 Commons. So I applied, and it really became a joy for me, because one of the things I really love to do is coach. So I did turn down the consulting assignments, but accepted the coaching assignments. And what I really like about the way Exec to Exec works is it's attracting executive directors who really don't have another place to turn. And just by calling you, they're creating an intervention. So they're open to coaching, and they're mostly stuck. And some of them are single practitioners. They have no staff. They can't approach their board. They need someone to bounce ideas off of. They lack knowledge in certain areas. And I'm the kind of coach that I realize if someone is lacking knowledge, I'm not going to ask a zillion questions on things that they don't know. If I know it, I'm going to share it. So I love sharing the tools that I have or helping research with them. And it provides an accountability for them, because they're very busy people. And if they're carving out time to spend with me, they have to realize they're making an investment. And they might be less productive in the short term, but in the longer term, they're going to exceed where they started from. Working with this executive director, after a couple of sessions, she began to realize that what she was asking for in her organization was also showing up in her life. So when we kind of crossed that bridge and we became very specific, which was about asking for help, that if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. And if you don't ask specifically, people don't know how to help you. And in my experience, people like to help if you give them a way to help you. So it was really rewarding to go through the sessions with her and watch how she tried things out and got really good response. And by the time we were done, she felt a lot more confident. She was getting a lot more done, and she saw a way forward.
I'm the executive director, COO for the LeMay Family Collection Foundation. I went in with one thought and actually came out with two opportunities. One was going in, making sure that how can I put it together to make sure not only hiring a good person to replace, but also setting that person up for success. Given the fact that, we are a small organization. Right now, we only have 3 full-time people and a couple of part-timers. And the uniqueness, because we are a nonprofit, that our landlords are board members, so they're disqualified people. So we have some uniquenesses that other nonprofits don't have. And then in addition to that, ensuring that I'm leaving it in good hands. And so that's really was my biggie, was how do I make sure that we do it correctly, and the board has someone that will continue on and hopefully stay as long as I have, to help with the glue. And then in addition to that, the bonus for me was Ivy and her concerns with me going through a transition from, you know, being and doing everything, where this really truly was my life, because I did care for it that much, just like you would your own family or your own business, to where now all of a sudden I'm not going to be here 6 days a week or 7 days a
Right.
week. And so saying, okay, how are you going to do that? And how are you going to put stuff in place for your own transition?
You know, we often don't know our impact until
Mhm.
someone tells us. So thank you for sharing that. And it's been my pleasure. And
Oh.
I really feel honored to receive this.